837.
Everybody knows that the boat is leaking. Everybody knows the captain lied. Everybody got this broken feeling like their father or their dog just died. Everybody talking.
And welcome back to the Grassroots Connection, where we provide the information you need to make an informed decision. And we have some callers online, so we're going to get right back into it. It looks like it's open lines Thursday. Any topic you bring it, we'll discuss it. And I'll just sit on my topic until tomorrow or another day. It's all good. You can reach us via the stream at WOIC.com. Just enter that into your search engine or browser. Homepage pops up. Scroll down, you look for Grassroots Connection. You tap on that, and that brings you into our stream. Also, you can reach us via the phone today, which is really hot, 742-1230, and toll-free for our out-of-state listeners, 888-671-7278. That's 888-671-7278. And once in our chat room, you can link us through Facebook and Twitter. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and get back into our calls, and I think we have a caller already there. Hello, caller, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay, all right. And so without any further delay, your question is how, and I just want to make sure I get it right.
Sure.
How can we have paid for health insurance reform without the bill that was there? In essence, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, well, yeah, how can we not have the mandate?
Right, without the mandate. Gotcha. Okay.
Right.
All right. Now, first off, I remember, and I bet you do, I spoke with Congressman Clyburn before this was passed and asked him a direct question. That question was, did the insurance lobby industry negotiate with President Obama behind the scenes and author this legislation? And his answer was forthright, and he said yes. Okay? And what I'm getting at here is, when we have insurance lobbyists writing legislation for us, obviously they're going to pad their pockets. They're going to cut the best deal for the insurance company. They're not really interested in us. Okay, so just right off the bat, that was my big objection. And in order to pay for this universal health care that I advocated, this one's going to sting people, so when you hear it, just understand where I'm coming from. When we look at how many hospitals do we have in Columbia right now, in the greater Columbia area? We've got Baptist, Palmetto Baptist, Richland, Providence, just to name a few. And each one of these hospitals has what I call a status of nonprofit. In other words, they're supposed to serve the indigent, those without the ability to pay for their services, and in return, the American people give them a non-profit status, which means that any properties that they buy, look at Richland Palmetto Baptist. How big is that campus? Look at Providence. These are big institutions. We've given them basically carte blanche on their tax bill. Okay, they don't have to pay the taxes. Like if you build a building as big as Richland Memorial, your tax bill would be outrageous. I mean, we're talking millions and millions of dollars each year that they are not taxed. And the reason that they aren't is because they are to provide a nonprofit service for the community. Now, what I see is these guys getting away with bloody murder. They will, you can go in there. They won't refuse you. However, if you don't have the means to pay, they will come after you. In other words, if you go in, you have a procedure, you can't pay, they will send a collection agency after you, which will affect your credit, and they will sue you. Now, if you are nonprofit, if you have that designation under your tax ID, then I don't think you have the right to then go after indigent people, sue them, and attack their credit. So what I would do to pay for my universal health care is to make those same nonprofit hospitals pay their tax bill.
Well, I think two things I want to say, though, because first of all, I was one of those people that was in a situation where I had to have some serious surgery done. And apparently, if I don't have health insurance, then that means I didn't have any insurance. And I ended up going into the emergency room, having to have emergency surgery at Palmetto Baptist. Mm-hmm. And to be honest with you, based on my income and the amount of people in my family and blah, 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 they ended up paying for the whole thing.
Well, that's good.
Okay, so I'm living proof that it's not, I just think that sometimes when we, and I'm not getting on you, but I'm just saying that sometimes when we make broad statements, there are people out there like myself. I didn't have that experience where they came after me. I had the experience where they say, well, you qualify where we're going to pay the entire bill. And
you're one among very many people who have probably received that, but the number of people who are, I guess, what you'd call is harassed through credit collection agencies and filing liens and things of that nature against property outweigh you. I mean, they do it quite a bit more often.
I've been in that
I just want to be
too.
I want to be clear. I have experience with someone in my family working directly for the collection agencies of these hospitals. And I can't really verbalize all the horrific stories of people being sent into bankruptcy because they simply could not afford their bill.
But that goes back to what my question is. See, what I want to do is zoom in on the reality is we know that we've had millions of people in this country without health insurance.
Right.
Now, we can sit back and, of course, hey, I'm with Anthony Weiner. I don't even understand what the insurance companies are for.
Right.
They don't do
insurance
anything,
companies should not be involved.
And I was definitely down with the public option. But in lieu of us not getting the public option, in lieu of us still having the insurance companies to deal with, the bottom line is how do we insure those people who cannot afford health insurance? Because we can talk all day about, what could be done and what should have been done, but what about like right now in this moment? You see what I'm saying?
Right
How
now,
do we
hold on.
That?
Hold on, let me answer your question. Right now in this moment, you had a health emergency. Did that health insurance reform provide you with an avenue to get that taken care of?
Well, the health reform, as far as I understand it, it hasn't kicked in yet.
That's correct.
Right.
And you had that taken care of by Baptists under their indigent program. Am I correct?
I guess, yeah.
Right. Meaning that by us giving them a tax break, they did what they were supposed to keep their non-profit tax status. That is how the system is supposed to work in your scenario. And it didn't require some mandate from Washington to get that done. All I'm saying, and my point, again, is that we need to make sure that these hospitals are following the rules because we're paying for that.
And I understand that, but what I want to say, and then I'm going to get off because I know you got other people but the calling in. But the point that I wanted to make, though, the reality for me and the reality for my surgeon and the nurses and other doctors that gave me that care, this was something that could have been prevented had I been going to a doctor. So in other words, had I had some type of health insurance where I could get my yearly checkup, okay, without paying an arm and a leg.
Right.
Okay, this is something that could have actually been prevented. But because being a business owner and figuring, for the most part, I'm pretty healthy, I'll just, because it's just, I don't know if your listening audience knows this, but again, as a business owner, trying to get health insurance for your family was higher than a car payment and my house payment combined.
That's my point. That's my point. Why subsidize the same people we bailed out during the bailout? The insurance companies were some of the same. AIG was an insurance company.
That's right.
What I'm getting at here is we've basically given them another bailout. And ultimately, our system worked. You got the care you needed because we set it up for these guys not to have to pay taxes if they were charitable in our community. And all I'm getting at is we didn't need for the insurance companies to write us more legislation. What we needed is watchdogs on the heels of these hospitals guaranteeing that they're going to provide the service that they agreed to do for the tax break. And I've seen this throughout the country. You are an exception. And I can tell you, if you speak to anyone who works in the collections agent part of these hospitals, you're going to hear some horrific stories. But
I've been on the other end of that too.
I've got to get.
I know that exists as well.
Right.
I've been on the other end of receiving those phone calls, for having to go to the emergency room.
Well,
and,
absolutely.
So yeah, I kind of see both sides of it.
Absolutely, and not to disparage you in any way, but as an independent and business owner, I think that you could probably afford a reasonable doctor's fee to go in and have an examination. And by that I mean, reasonable is less than $300 for a visit to do a checkup. And the reason,
I haven't found that one yet, but if you find them, let me know.
Okay, but I have found them, and they're not in those hospitals. And the reason they're not in the hospitals is because they have to pay the hospitals outrageous fees to use their facilities. Okay, now if you go to an independent doctor who has his own building, he can do it for $50, and I can give you his number. We may do that.
You need to give me that.
Yes, I've been to him, so I know. But all I'm getting at is,
I'll call you later and get that information.
When you talk to these doctors, you find out that they're in the same boat. They're being charged as much as you are, and it has to reflect in their bill. So that's where I'm going with it. But we have another caller. I'm going to go ahead and pot him up, and I do appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
All right. And let's see who else we have up. And caller, are you there?
Andre.
Yes. Hey, what's going on?
Oh, it's hot, 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 and no rain.
Yes. I've been in the attic all day. I know 150 degrees. My brain is fried.
Oh, I can imagine.
But, we're enjoying ourselves. We're having a great time talking to the people.
Indeed. And I do not envy your previous caller and what the ordeal she went through, for that matter.
Me either. And, to be frank with you guys, I'm in need of surgery. I have 2 hernias, and I've been to many, many doctors. And I've been charged outrageous fees just for a guy to look at me one day was $600 because he was in, I think it was Lexington Memorial facilities. And based on what they would charge him, he was going to charge me $6,000 for this operation, but he was candid enough to explain to me that, basically his fee would only be $1,500. The rest of it would go to Lexington Memorial.
Okay, so $1,500 out of the $6,000.
That's $4,500 going to Lexington, and all they're really doing, I think, was providing an anesthesiologist, which I'm not saying that they're not worth it. I'm saying that they're not worth that much. And, $5,000 for a few hours, that's a lot of money, folks. I'm sorry about that, but I'd rather pay the surgeon.
Those hospital bills, because when you start having one hospital bill and then you end up kind of find out that the anesthesiologist is a separate charge and this is a separate charge, it's like, wait a minute. Well, I thought,
that's what I'm saying. And, we look
don't add up.
You look at the cost for the rooms. You look at the cost for an aspirin. An aspirin is, range from $35 for an aspirin. Okay, if you get it in the hospital. And this is why we went way off the edge and wrote this legislation. We didn't really address the real problem.
That's because those conglomerates have no intention of addressing those problems.
No. They wrote the bill so that they could make more money. Anybody knows
that's
that.
The whole intention.
But they sold us on.
As far as where the funding is going to come from, if we looked at it's one of those things where I tend to address what they define as the military and all that, so-called military.
Miss Obsidian?
Yes.
We're headed into break. I had it potted down, but I'll hold you over and let you finish your point, okay? Just hold on for me. Hold on. And we'll be right back with more Grassroots Connection right after this.
And games for adults and children alike. Burger Time, 420.